Aries is associated with initiative, drive, and action. In January, Aries energy focuses on starting new cycles with awareness rather than speed. A new spark begins to take shape beneath the surface. Excitement, ideas, or desire may appear quietly rather than dramatically. This is the early stage of motivation, not the moment for action. Observing what inspires you is more important than acting on it immediately. January favors letting creative energy mature on its own. Balance becomes essential as strong impulses rise. Adjusting pace helps prevent burnout or misdirection. Small corrections lead to steadier progress over time. Blending patience with intention creates stability. This month rewards moderation and thoughtful movement. Change moves according to timing rather than personal control. Situations may shift unexpectedly, opening and closing paths. Trying to force outcomes brings resistance. Adapting to circumstances allows progress to continue. January works best when flexibility replaces insistence. January brings a need for stability and reassurance. Comfort zones feel important, yet subtle adjustments are quietly taking place. This period favors grounding, routine, and protecting what already exists. Progress happens slowly but steadily, without pressure to rush. Consistency becomes the key to feeling secure. Holding on feels natural during this time. There is a strong desire to protect resources, boundaries, or emotional safety. Caution serves a purpose, but rigidity can limit growth. Awareness of where control is helpful or excessive is important. January supports security balanced with openness. Effort continues, even when results seem distant. This is a waiting phase where patience matters more than action. Time allows progress to mature beneath the surface. Reviewing what has been invested brings clarity. January encourages trust in slow but meaningful growth. Nurturing energy softens the month's slower pace. Care, comfort, and attention to well-being bring visible improvement. Growth comes through support rather than force. Creating a pleasant environment strengthens motivation. January favors gentle expansion and sustained abundance. January brings a quieter mental rhythm for Gemini. Thoughts are active, but there is a need to organize and simplify them. Too many ideas at once can feel overwhelming. This period favors focus, prioritization, and mental clarity. Less stimulation creates more understanding. A moment of mental clarity begins to emerge. Confusion starts to lift, revealing a clearer perspective. New ideas form through insight rather than impulse. Truth becomes easier to recognize when distractions fade. January supports honest thinking and clear decisions. Mental limits may feel stronger than they truly are. Self-doubt or overthinking creates a sense of restriction. These boundaries are often internal, not external. Awareness brings the realization that freedom is available. January encourages questioning limiting thoughts. Curiosity returns in a more focused way. Learning feels lighter when pressure is removed. Asking questions leads to understanding rather than confusion. Observation becomes more valuable than quick conclusions. January supports thoughtful exploration and mental growth. January shifts attention away from outward recognition and toward inner strength. The need to prove or perform softens during this period. Confidence is rebuilt quietly rather than displayed openly. This is a time to reconnect with personal values and motivation. True assurance grows from self-awareness, not external response. Inner calm becomes more powerful than force. Self-control replaces the need to dominate situations. Gentle persistence brings better results than pressure. Confidence grows through patience and emotional balance. January supports quiet courage and steady self-trust. Tension may arise from competing priorities or internal conflict. Struggles feel more draining than productive. Not every challenge requires engagement. Choosing peace over confrontation preserves energy. January encourages selective involvement rather than constant effort. Clarity slowly returns after inner adjustment. Optimism feels more grounded and realistic. Joy emerges through simplicity rather than spectacle. Confidence stabilizes when expectations are balanced. January supports warmth, honesty, and renewed clarity. January highlights the need for order, clarity, and practical focus. Details matter more than big gestures during this period. This is a time to refine routines and simplify responsibilities. Small adjustments create noticeable improvements. Progress feels strongest when structure supports well-being. Attention turns towards steady effort and skill building. Consistency matters more than speed or perfection. Focusing on one task at a time brings satisfaction. Improvement happens through repetition and patience. January rewards dedication to meaningful work. A sense of independence becomes important. Enjoyment comes from recognizing personal achievements. Self-sufficiency brings quiet confidence. Comfort grows when effort is acknowledged. January supports appreciating what has already been built. A new practical idea begins to take shape. Learning feels grounded and purposeful. Plans develop slowly but with clarity. Curiosity turns toward tangible results. January favors realistic goals and patient preparation. January brings a need to restore balance after periods of mental or emotional strain. Decisions feel heavier, making it important to slow down and evaluate carefully. This month encourages fairness not only toward others, but toward yourself as well. Clarity develops through reflection rather than immediate choice. Harmony grows when pressure is released. Honesty becomes essential, even when it feels uncomfortable. Situations call for clear assessment rather than emotional reaction. Responsibility and accountability shape outcomes. Seeing things as they truly are allows wiser decisions. January supports truth, balance, and conscious evaluation. Indecision may feel persistent during this period. Avoidance can create inner tension rather than relief. Taking time to feel rather than analyze brings clarity. Silence can be useful, but not permanent. January encourages gentle confrontation of choices. Balance returns through moderation and patience. Small adjustments ease internal conflict. Extreme reactions lose their appeal. Peace grows through steady compromise. January supports calm resolution and emotional alignment. January brings a period of internal transformation and emotional depth. Surface-level concerns lose importance as attention turns inward. This is a time for honest self-examination and quiet release. Change unfolds subtly rather than dramatically. Emotional truth becomes a guiding force. An ending makes space for renewal. What no longer serves begins to fall away naturally. Release feels necessary rather than forced. Transformation happens through acceptance, not resistance. January supports letting go to allow something new to emerge. Emotional distance grows from situations that feel unfulfilling. Walking away becomes an act of self-respect. The desire for deeper meaning outweighs attachment. This transition may feel bittersweet but necessary. January encourages choosing emotional honesty over familiarity. Perspective shifts when movement pauses. Stillness reveals insights that action cannot. Surrender brings understanding rather than loss. Patience allows clarity to surface naturally. January supports growth through reflection and altered viewpoint. January brings a pause and forward momentum. The urge to move ahead is still present, but reflection becomes necessary. This period encourages looking inward for meaning rather than seeking it externally. Beliefs and goals are quietly reassessed. Clarity grows through contemplation instead of action. Solitude creates space for insight. Stepping back allows deeper understanding to emerge. Answers come from inner reflection rather than outside direction. Silence reveals what constant movement hides. January supports wisdom gained through introspection. Restlessness may surface beneath the calm. The desire for change competes with the need for patience. Impulsive action feels tempting but premature. Energy benefits from being observed rather than released. January asks for restraint before movement. Direction becomes clearer after inner alignment. Control replaces scattered effort. Progress feels purposeful rather than rushed. Confidence grows when focus is regained. January supports movement guided by intention and balance. January feels familiar yet demanding for Capricorn. Responsibility and structure take center stage. This period emphasizes discipline, long-term planning, and realistic expectations. Progress comes through steady effort rather than shortcuts. Patience strengthens foundations already in place. Weight and responsibility feel heavier than usual. usual. Commitments may begin to feel overwhelming. Not everything needs to be carried alone. Recognizing limits prevents burnout. January encourages reassessing burdens and redistributing effort. Authority and structure restore a sense of control. Clear boundaries support stability and confidence. Leadership comes from consistency rather than force. Decisions benefit from logic and responsibility. January supports building strength through order and clarity. Rest becomes necessary after sustained effort. Pausing allows recovery and mental clarity. Stillness restores balance more effectively than constant action. Reflection strengthens future decisions. January favors rest as preparation, not avoidance. January brings a shift in perspective and a desire for mental freedom. Old patterns feel restrictive, prompting a need for fresh viewpoints. This period favors observation over immediate change. Ideas settle when given space to breathe. Clarity grows through detachment and reflection. A calm sense of reassurance emerges quietly. Hope feels steady rather than dramatic. Trust in the future rebuilds through acceptance. Gentle optimism replaces uncertainty. January supports renewal through simplicity and faith. Attention may linger on what feels lost or disappointing. Emotional focus narrows when perspective is limited. Not everything is gone, even if it feels that way. Shifting focus reveals remaining possibilities. January encourages emotional recalibration. Connection brings lightness back into focus. Shared moments restore balance and joy. Support becomes visible through simple interactions. Celebration does not need excess to feel meaningful. January supports reconnection and emotional warmth. January heightens sensitivity and intuitive awareness. Emotions flow more freely, requiring gentle boundaries. This period encourages listening rather than reacting. Inner worlds feel richer than external demands. Stillness brings clarity and emotional understanding. Uncertainty may surface through feelings rather than facts. Dreams, intuition, and subconscious signals intensify. Not everything is meant to be understood immediately. Patience reveals truth over time. January supports trusting intuition through ambiguity. Choices feel overwhelming when clarity is missing. Distraction blurs priorities and direction. Not every option deserves attention. Grounding helps separate illusion from reality. January encourages discernment and emotional focus. Calm returns after confusion fades. Hope feels gentle and reassuring. Emotional balance restores inner peace. Healing happens through trust and acceptance. January supports quiet renewal and emotional clarity.